Welcome to Glowing Success. My name is Heidi and I am your host. This podcast is for beauty entrepreneurs. Join me weekly as we dive into the beauty industry's ins and outs, from business strategies, top-selling services, and taboo topics. I will be interviewing industry leaders with empowering stories and game-changing insights. Let's illuminate your path to success together. Let's jump into this next episode. Today's episode is going to be a little unscripted. Lately, I haven't been feeling as creative, and I'm sure that a lot of you guys can actually relate to that probably, where maybe you're feeling something a little off or anything like that. So with everything that's going on in the current world and all of the scariness that's happening on our streets, it's understandable that we're going to have capacity for certain things, and then we're also going to run out of that capacity, right? So your body, your mind, they're sitting there trying to protect themselves. They only have so much to give in a day, right? And so we're also being occupied with other things that we're paying attention to that wouldn't normally be things that we're having in our lives. So we have to understand that we're in different times. We're dealing with very different things. And so the things that maybe used to be easy to you are probably not going to be as easy. So for me, for instance, I love this podcast. I love interviewing people, and actually I would love to continue to interview people every week if it was up to me. Honestly, the creativity that goes into like making the questions that I have for them, or, the topics, or who am I going to interview, that's never been a problem for me. Like, I've always had so many ideas. I've always been able to, message these people and ask them if they would like to be on. I've always had like a list of people and topics that I want to cover. Like, it's never been a problem until recently. And it's not that I don't have ideas of what I want to talk about or the people I want to have on, but when I think of the questions I want to ask them and the topic at hand, or, the overall, thing that I want to get across, my mind just goes blank. I'm having a hard time with it, to be honest. And it's not something I've dealt with. And I'm a little bit like, oh my gosh. So one thing I do want to talk about that I experienced recently, businesses not putting the effort in to keep their clients and their employees, or the people that work in the establishment, safe. And I think there's something to be said about businesses that are staying quiet right now about things. I think it's actually speaking volumes, and it's very loud, the places that are very quiet and not talking about things and not bringing it up, or not putting signs up, or not showing, efforts of solidarity with their clients and their employees. There's a few businesses that I have interacted with recently that just, I don't feel like are doing enough. I don't feel like are showing up enough. And so for me personally, I think that's complicit with fascism. I think you are showing that this is not important to you enough for you to stand up and say what's right? And so I'm going to take that as you are siding with the oppressor. You are siding with what is going on, right? Let's be honest. If you're not outraged about what's going on right now, if you're not just sad, sickened, your stomach hurts, you're crying every day, all the emotions that we're all going through, it's probably because of reason, right? And we know that reason. It's very, very loud, actually. So I have reached out to a business yesterday, actually, and they reached back out to me today, and I reached back out to them again, or I responded or replied. Their response was very professional, which I expected, because a lot of people that are not showing any effort with anything that's going on right now are, of course, going to just be very like a blank statement, essentially, right? And I totally expected this, actually. And I was hoping for a different response. I was hoping for more of a human response. I was hoping for more of an empathetic response. I was hoping for more of something that showed me that, like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I do see what you're saying. And you know what? We have been talking about this and we would like to do things further and we are going to take actions in the next coming days. I don't know. Somebody that is saying that they are trying to keep their employees and customers safe, but they're not doing anything about it, that's just words. That means nothing. That means nothing to the people walking into your business because the people aren't seeing anything. They're not seeing you do anything. And then after I spoke with a few of the people that worked there, they all said they're very frustrated by what's happening. They wish that there was action being taken. And they said most of their clients feel the same way. I felt sad and I felt bad for the employees that work there because they're not, clearly the owners of this business are not listening to their, number one, their employees, but number two, their clients. And actually maybe those should be switched. Number one, their clients, and number two, their employees. They're not listening. And so it's hard because for me as a client, I've made a lot of choices recently. I stopped supporting some of the businesses that I have supported that I just didn't feel like were stepping up and doing anything. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to continue to spend my money and support businesses that don't care about my community, don't care about my family, don't have those, things in mind, because we're going through real life things right now. I feel bad because I want to support these people that work in this establishment. I've been very happy as a client because of those employees' efforts and not necessarily because the actual company. I've been a client for a long time there. I have built relationships with a couple of the different employees there. You know what I mean? So, because I go consistently. So I think it's sad because now I'm at a point where it's like, well, I really don't want to support that business anymore because I don't think that business aligns with me morally. I think that I want to tell other people to not support that business that align morally with me because, hey, our money is going to speak volumes, right? A lot of large corporations are getting boycotted right now because that is one of the powers that we have is where we spend our money, right? Where we spend our time, where we spend our labor, things like that. But I also know in real life scenarios that all the people that work in this establishment that I'm talking about, they can't all just up and quit and get new jobs, right? That would be the best case scenario is everybody quits and goes and works somewhere else that aligns with what they believe would keep them safe and what they believe is the right thing to do. But I know that that's not something that people can do on a whim. And I know that takes a little bit more planning. I know that takes, job opportunities and the things. So you come up to these hard places where we're having to make these choices right now of, cutting subscriptions, whether you're supporting these large corporations. And I've been doing a lot of those things for many years, and I've been really aggressive on it as of late, but there is going to be some gray areas where it's like, I really like the person I'm seeing at this one place, but I don't like how the owners of that place are handling it. So in that instance, it's like, what do I do? Do I continue to support the person that I know they're making a living, they're supporting themselves, their family members, and I'm still undecided of what I'm going to do. And I told my service provider this as well. I said, hey, I want to continue to support you because I like you. And this is something that I've been doing recently is I have not been supporting the companies that don't support my family, my community, and things like that. So we're all making hard choices right now. And I think that if we continue to do that in effort of building a world that we want to live in and building, and keeping these corporations accountable, and it will work. But I will say it's not going to be an easy thing, and we're going to have to make these decisions day by day, and you're not going to be able to just cancel everything overnight. You know what I mean? It's going to be layers. And I was talking to somebody about this earlier of how things happen in layers. So I've been plant-based or vegan for 9 years, and I've been dairy-free for 11. We did decide to just go plant-based, me and my husband, overnight one night, but it took years of doing other things that led up to that point as well. And we didn't probably notice that right away. For me, I had been staying away from dairy the couple of years before we went plant-based. So I had not been consuming dairy at all. So that was easier for me to cut out, of course, because I already had cut it out. So, and then, I didn't grow up eating a ton of pork. There's a lot of people in my family that are allergic to pork, so that wasn't necessarily something that I was like having a lot in my life. I had been doing fitness stuff and on TV for a while previous to this. So, like, I had been very mindful of clean eating habits. And so I had done some layers of things before we became plant-based and before that was even a thing in my life. And same thing with anything that you do, right? Trying to do like zero waste or close to zero waste. That's not going to be something you can just do overnight. You have to like kind of get rid of things, get rid of your plastic as you go and start using more sustainable things. Like so I think this is going to be similar to that, right? Like we're going to have to gradually go through the things that aren't serving us and release them and kind of go through and see what works and find your new fit in life. So because this episode did not have, a scripted thing, and I'm just kind of rattling on over here, I appreciate you listening to me, and I hope that you are supporting your community. I hope that you are doing the things that you can consistently. I hope that you are showing up every day in the capacities that you can, but also taking care of yourself, because you cannot pour back into your community and do all the things that we need to do right now unless you are filling your cup up, unless you are healthy, unless you are able to show up. So take that time to, decompress at night, drink your water, do whatever you have to do to start that day off and show up again and be ready to, help your community and help your family and help the people around you that you care about. Know that this is a longer journey. It's going to take all of us to commit to it, and I think we can do it. And thank you for listening, and stay safe out there. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, I'd love for you to leave a review. It really helps more people find the show. And if you know someone who'd also enjoy it, share it with them or tag me on Instagram so I can thank you. New episodes come out every week, so be sure to subscribe so you never miss one. See you next time.